the 2nd of January, Rabbi Furst, Mishnah Brewer.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. You see with Saman Apshi here in Yerushalayim Tier of Zoom. We're learning our second shir now in Mishnah Brewer. Hilchos Nesias Kapayim and Pierke Kohanim in Simon Cook Past, second volume of Mishnah Brewer. And we're now learning in Sif Lamed Aleph. Sif Lamed Aleph. Yep. Mayor, would you like to begin to read?
Mayor, you're muted.
1 second, I just got to close the door.
No.
Okay. Okay, so Kuf Kaf Chet and Lamed Aleph, you said?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Okay. So it says in Minhag Hamakom, Shalshel HaKohanim Talit al Penehem Afilu Yesh Bifanav Ubiadav Kama Mumin Isa et Kapav. Okay, so if the place is accustomed, not sure what l'shashel.
That means that they drape their talus over their faces and their hands.
Oh,
What is shall to cover?
Well, to drape over.
To drape. To drape.
no. Is that also related to a chain? Shalshel?
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's a chain like hangs down over something.
Uh-huh. Okay. So the Kohanim drape the talus over their faces. Afilu, even if their faces or hands, I guess, have several blemishes.
Right. As we were learning previously, if the Kohanim has a blemish, they shouldn't do it because people are going to stare at it, right? But here, if
Right.
it's covered over it, it shouldn't make a difference.
So here they cover it over. Okay.
So that means if you're going to cover your hands and face, then a mum is not a psul for duchening.
Right. If that's the custom of this place, right?
So that would be pretty much the common practice today then.
Yeah, as far as I know, they always seem to cover their hands and
Yeah.
their faces.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so okay. Should we do the Haggah or just go to
Yeah, let's see the Haggah for more.
Okay, Haggah b'davka im hayu yada bifnim min hatalit. And specifically, if their hands are in the talus, okay. Aval imheim mibachutz lo machaneh hatalit al yadav. Okay, but they are from outside.
If the hands extend outside the talus.
Oh, if they extend outside the talus.
Right, we had different minhagim. Some places the hands were covered completely. Some they were exposed outside the talus.
So that's the what the Haggah is adding. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay, inside. Okay, so Lamed Aleph, Mishnah Brura.
Wait a second, you didn't finish the sentence. Lo mahane hatalit liyadav. What does that mean?
Oh, Lo Mehane Hatalit. This isn't,
The talus doesn't help. If the hands are extending outside the talus doesn't help.
The
Because
whole
the hands are
point,
still visible. The hands are still visible. If they have a mum, you'd be puzzled from dochening.
right. The whole point is you shouldn't see the mum. The people, the Israelim in the congregation shouldn't see the mum because that'll distract them. They'll be staring at the mum. So therefore, if it's covered over, and only if it's covered over, will be affected.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the Mishnah Brura in, okay, Kuf Yud Daled, which is Im Minhag. Okay. So if it's a custom in the place to cover over, the Kohanim cover over their face with the talus.
Right.
Okay, Daha ein yecholin lehisakel bahem. So this is so they are not able to be seen bahen from them, I guess.
Right. They won't be able to see the mumim. If they're covered over by the talus, they won't be able to look at the mum, and therefore won't be distracted.
Oh. Okay. They won't be distracted by the moon. Okay. The Ve'im ein hamin ha'kain rak shehu rotzeh la'asot kain mipnei hamumim shebo. Okay, and if this isn't
Usher. It's a comment after
sure.
sure.
I see. Okay. And if this isn't the custom, there, let's see.
To cover themselves with complete with the talus.
Oh, to cover themselves. Okay. Only those that want to do it. Because of the movement is asur.
There's no minig that way, meaning they don't usually cover themselves with talus. Rak, however, only he wants to do it. Because he has mumin that he doesn't want to show us, so that we us, right? Even if all the other konim want to do the same, they never do it. But here, in order to cover himself, all the kohanim were willing to cover themselves. It's also us.
Oh. Wow.
Right? I feel roasting call it kohanim lasos kamo. Even if all the other kohanim want to do like he's doing, like covering himself. Why? Today, go ahead, man. Today,
Okay. Afilo rotzim kol kohanim lasot kamohu kidei shelo yehei bo shenui mishar kohanim afilu hachi asur. Okay, so even if they want to do like he does, okay, kidei, in order that they let's see, hebo shinui.
You want to do it like he's going to do it, right?
right.
But in order that there shouldn't be a shinui, there shouldn't be any deviation. The shtar,
Oh, there shouldn't be a difference, okay. From the rest of the Kohanim, filu hache, even here, it's forbidden. The Mikol Makom, Yistaklu Bahem, Mipnei Sheshinoi Minhagam, Vayasichu Datam. Okay, but nevertheless, yes, clue. They see them, because of the difference of the customs.
right? They'll start, the congregation will stackle this. The congregation will stare at the Kohanim. They're all covered up. They changed their custom. They usually don't cover up, and now they're covering up. So people in the congregation are going to be looking at them and wondering, why are they covering up?
Why are they covering?
And they'll lose concentration.
Oh. So, okay, okay. Lose concentration. Okay, good. Okay, so then let's see. L'shashel hakohanim talit al paneihim. So the Kohanim covered their faces with the talis. Aval lo mahane ma shebe'ezeh mikomod hakahal mikasin paneihim. So what? But there are not.
It's not going to be helpful if, like certain places do, that the congregation covers their faces. Sometimes the Kohanim sometimes cover them up, and sometimes the people cover themselves up. Sometimes they do both.
Oh, okay. The Mikol Makom Kisheyedu Sheyesh Mum Atu Leistakle. The Gam Yesh Bachurim She'ein Lahem Talitin. Oh. So let's see, Dekol Makom, nevertheless, that they know that there's a moon.
Right? When it will become known that there's a moon, it'll become known that there's a moon, right? Even though they normally cover themselves, even though the congregation normally covers themselves, but if it'll be known, people mention that there's a moon amongst the Kohanim.
Okay. Atu leistakle. They will look at it.
Right, they'll come to stare at it, right?
No, stare at it. Okay. And there will be Bachurim.
Well, Bachurim are young boys. They're young
Oh,
boys.
young boys. Oh, that wouldn't have their talises.
Right, young boys don't wear talis, so it's not going to help for the people who don't have talis.
Okay. Okay, Kuftet, let's see.
That'll bring us to Lamed Beis, right?
No Kufta Zion.
It's the end of the Haggah,
Right.
Yadav, over, I guess for his hands. Where they cover it, they don't cover the talus over their hands. Aval lemumin she bifanav mahane, but the blemishes are on their faces.
Right.
Oh, so they don't have to worry about covering their hands; they just cover their faces for that.
Right, but that's still not going to help. You have to cover everything up.
Okay.
No, Mr. Burr is saying is that even if the hands stick out and the talus doesn't help for covering the hands, since it's covering the face, it will cover the moons there and it would help.
So if the Kohen only has a mum on his face, right, it would help.
Right.
but but obviously if it's gonna be on the hand, it won't help. But if it's on the
Right.
only on the face, then it will help. Right, right.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Mahane means to help.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Right.
Okay, Lamed Bet. Hayu Yadav Sivuot Istim Upua. Satim Upua Perush Mine Sivaim. Types of colors, I guess. Okay. Okay, so
It
if
sounds like the
hand-
Cohen is a painter and gets paint all over his hands.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's right. Correct.
Okay. Not black and blue marks, huh?
No,
That also might be a problem, but here, I guess it's still talking about there are different colored, most likely colored paints.
Colored
Well,
paint.
let's say he has tattoos. What would you say about tattoos, man?
well, tattoos are usher anyhow.
Yeah, so if you have a tattoo, you probably wouldn't be able
Shabbat
to.
Tshuva.
Yep.
But even so,
It's a moon.
Yeah, it certainly qualifies. Right.
Really a tattoo will disqualify a coin?
I would assume like Lou said, I'm sure I would assume it's qualified as a mum.
Okay, well, I mean, again, it's a skin discoloration. It's not like he's Chosser and Aver.
No, but it's also because somebody, if people knew that you had them, they would stare at them. Anything, I think what the Mishnah is trying to say is that any change from the normal appearance that would cause people to try and to want to stare at it
Right.
is enough to possible something from duchening if his hands are exposed.
Yeah, but
So-
let's say he had a tattoo of the American flag across his chest.
That's not something people wouldn't stare at. That wouldn't qualify him because people wouldn't stare at it. They don't know it's there.
Right. That's something they're not going to get to see, right?
Right.
So,
right.
But
that's
if
not
it's
gonna-
on his hands or his face and people would see it, then it's much more
Oh.
of an issue.
Right. Let's say he wears he's got earrings.
Well, his face is covered by the
Yeah, if his
collar.
face is covered, it might be okay.
Yeah, but let's say even if it wouldn't be, would that on its own be a pasul?
Oh, is that a moon? That's interesting.
Well, it's a mum. It's a mum over. It's because they'll heal.
Right. But I
It
guess
might
it could.
depend on how common earrings are for men in that place.
Right.
But isn't it important also, besides being up on the duchen, even when they're preparing to go up, people are going to notice. It's not just what you notice on the duchen.
Right, but they're allowed to stare at them when they're getting ready. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
The
but
whole
you-
point is you
The
don't want
purpose of
them
not
to-
staring at them is because the shechina is on their hands, is resting on their hands.
No, I understand that, but if you see a Kohen with a mum in shul, aren't you going to be distracted by, oh, how's he allowed to duchen? And even though his hands are going to be covered, I know it's in there. I mean, it's a distraction.
Well, I mean, we see that the stringency here is during the time of the duchening, meaning because again, if the fellow is covering his face, right? So obviously he's got a mum on his face, right? He's got a mum on his face. But we just learned that if their place has a custom that they cover themselves with the talus, and therefore it's not being shown and visible at the time of the duchening, then it should be okay, even though people know very much about it beforehand and afterwards. Apparently, right?
Mhm.
And didn't we also say that if he was a member of the congregation and people were used to his mum, that also was not a problem?
Yeah, that was in previously. That was in the end of Yud Aleph. Lamed. he was there for 30 days, so we assume people got used to him if they saw it. So then if after 3 days, he can go up and do it. If you're not going to be distracted that he's somewhat an unusual character over here. But yeah, but the tattoo, I'm not sure if that makes it a particular mum in a coin in general, whether that makes a mum in a coin in general, and then whether or not it's going to be something which is distracting. Let's say he paints his fingernails. I guess that would be the same situation here. As he has painted his fingers, his skin is painted. If he paints his fingernails,
Sure.
right?
Well, let's say he has a tattoo on his hand
Right.
and he's been in the congregation for more than 30 days. Wouldn't we say that it's not a problem?
That should be. It should be okay, right?
No, I had a friend who had a tattoo on his hand, and it was a big question about whether he could even be, when he passed away, whether he could be buried in the Jewish cemetery. So they paskined, they buried him by the fence with his arm out of the cemetery.
Really?
Wow.
Never seen that before.
Wow.
I made
Did
that
they-
up.
It was a particularly offensive tattoo, or was it a tattoo?
Barry, that joke was offensive.
Yeah.
Well, it happens sometimes, It's like a baseball player, if he hits 300, he's doing good.
No Collis roast, Barry.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, there
See,
you
during
go.
the break, I forgot everything.
There you go. Yeah, once it becomes a habit, it's a habit.
Okay. So if he has this tattoo or some sort of coloring,
Right.
he just still doesn't go up because the people will stare at him.
Right. Okay, let's go on
Okay.
to the next halacha.
Okay, ve'im rov ha'ir milachtan b'kach isayed kapav. What, and if the majority of the city,
Right.
Does that? It's a city of tanners. Okay, for instance, everybody, all the tanners in the area are in that one city. So you get all the
Oh.
dyes and stuff on your hand. So they're used to it. Everybody does. It's common.
Oh, I
Everybody's got
see.
it on their hand. It's not something that's going to stick out and require people to see. They're used to it because they see it on everybody all the time.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It used to be also that the various different trades, crafts, and professions would have their own minyanim, their own shul. Meaning they were the
Right.
tailor shul, right, the blacksmith shul, because they basically kept the same schedule. All the blacksmiths have to start at like 8 o'clock, and the tailors begin at 10 o'clock, right? So they had their own schedules, right? So many of the people in the same trades and professions would gather and make their own minyanim. So if these were a minyan of a shul of painters or dyers, right? And so then, or even a cipher can have a lot of he gets a lot of the diyoi from writing the Sifrei Torah and mezuzahs and tefillin. So it could be that his hands are very black and colored from the various different inks that he's using in the safras. So that would also be acceptable because it's not the basis of the whole halach is it's going to be distracting. But if you're used to it, it's not going to be distracting.
Right.
Okay.
It would be considered normal.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's 10:30.
Okay, that's I guess this is the end of that halacha, I guess. So good, we'll start tomorrow fresh with the Lamed Gimel mitzvah.
Lamed Gimel.
Okay.
Lou,
Yes,
who's doing Rabbi Levitt today?
the same one that he always does.
Okay.
He's hosting.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thanks.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay,
be
take
well.
care.
Bye.